I don't have an intro for this video, I just want to talk about the Bill and Ted movie trilogy, so let's do that real quick. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure started its conception thanks to the real-life friendship of Ed Sullivan and Chris Matheson. The movie was specifically based on a stand-up routine the duo did in their college years, later turned into a screenplay that was shopped around but eventually produced by Orion Pictures. The film was on track of meeting its 1988 release date, but Orion went bankrupt, causing the nearly finished film to be shelved, but luckily it was able to be released in 1989 into cinemas as a modest success with a passionate audience. Starring Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves as Bill and Ted respectively in their breakout roles, the first feature film of the duo has them scrambling to finish their history final or else they'll flunk out of school. Luckily for the duo, the ever-reliable Rufus, played by legendary comedian George Carlin, is here from the future to help the boys out with a time machine in order to give a presentation that will blow the socks off of their high school. The Excellent Adventure is a really charming comedy even to this day, which is helped by our core protagonist duo. Bill and Ted are such fun dudes, clearly sharing a brain cell between them, but their earnest love for music and people helps endear the duo to the audience, and the historical figures they meet generally like the aspiring rock star duo. There's also an extra ingredient to these characters and the film's success that have made them stand out in a sea of 80s teen comedies and helped them appeal to many generations of moviegoers beyond the 80s and 90s. The way these guys speak. You see, the first Bill and Ted was made at the tail end of the 1980s, a decade that popularized the John Hughes style of teen comedy, which many criticized for how far removed from reality the teenagers in those films were written, acting more like adults venting about life's problems than real kids with high ambition. Bill and Ted broke the mold with their unique but funny language patterns. Yeah, they're a bit dim-witted and not as well spoken as others, but so are a lot of teens. They're still growing up from being kids at the end of the day, so having these fun speech patterns may be silly, but it's ultimately true to life in this oddly absurd but endlessly entertaining way. The time travel elements are well implemented, both in terms of set design of the various time periods and how the historical figures chosen interact with Bill, Ted, in the modern day. My personal favorite time travel joke came in the climax when they use off-screen time travel to give themselves the tools to finish their adventure, which is such a hilarious yet brilliant way to use the premise of the film to both tell jokes and advance the plot. While Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure may ultimately be a silly movie, I surprisingly found myself resonating with the themes and messages of it quite a bit. The reason why Rufus gives the duo the time machine in the first place is because if Bill and Ted are separated, then their music career doesn't take off, which means the world isn't inspired to be a better place, showing the impact their silly songs have on the world. While this isn't really played up for any serious drama or world-ending stakes, this element of being told your silly art ambitions are worth it in the end is such a nice message, especially for the kids and teens the movie is aimed at. I don't know, man, I just really resonated with this film about these guys who aren't traditionally smart but have a lot of passion for their chosen craft, who find ways to solve their problems using non-traditional methods that may not resonate with everyone but eventually resonates with new friends and later a wider audience. What I'm trying to say is this movie's my life story about being autistic. So, with the success of the first Bill and Ted film, a sequel was greenlit and released in 1991, titled Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. The film sadly underperformed both at the box office and with critics, which is a shame because I think Bogus Journey is an awesome movie on par with the first one. The film serves as a fun expansion of the world of the first film, showing a terrorist group from the future opposing Bill and Ted's utopia and sending in robot clones of the duo back in time to kill the real guys. Here's the thing, the robots succeed and now our ghostly duo must travel through hell and heaven on a bogus journey to get back to the mortal plane and stop the robot clones from screwing everything up. Just from that premise, you can tell this film deals with wackier concepts in terms of its main scenario and how it leads to new kinds of funny jokes. A big help of the comedic elements is the new enemy-turned-friend, Death. Without the historical figures to interact with, Death comes in to give Bill and Ted a challenge, both in terms of stakes and character interactions. The scene where Bill and Ted play modern games with Death is such a delight, and further shows the duo's unconventional ingenuity. From a thematic perspective, I find the ending of this film quite interesting, as what could have been seen as a silly joke with Bill and Ted having their future selves take over the battle of the band since they aren't as talented on the musical front yet, somewhat serves an interesting message that will be expanded on in the final film. It acknowledges that Bill and Ted's musical skills aren't going to substantially grow overnight. The duo still have a long road ahead of them before they can achieve their goal of a rock and roll utopia. I quite like how Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey had different strengths than the first film, but still manages to be equally as good with those strengths. It's a bizarre but very entertaining film that creatively expands on the Bill and Ted universe, which led to some niche but beloved cartoons and comics that spun off from this film. After years of back and forth development hell, a third Bill and Ted film titled Bill and Ted Face the Music would be filmed in 2019 and released in the midst of the global hell year that was 2020. You can clearly tell that this film is a passion project from those involved, based on the smaller than average production budget for a modern Hollywood movie and the breezy runtime of 90 minutes, both aspects carried from the original film duology. The premise of this final chapter follows Bill and Ted nearly 30 years after the ending of Bogus Journey, running out of time to write and perform the song that will unite the world, causing timelines to go wacko and doubts to be had about their potential. While Bill and Ted go on a quest through meeting possible alternate timeline versions of themselves, their daughters, Thea and Billy, go on their own adventure to get together history's greatest musicians to help produce the world-uniting song. The alternate Bill and Ted shown throughout Face the Music not just provide amusing moments of dark comedy, but show that even if the OG Bill and Ted are struggling, they're still decent dudes at the end of the day who could have easily gone down a dark path, but thankfully haven't for one reason or another. As for the secondary plot of the daughters, I really like Thea and Billy just as much as I like Bill and Ted, which is a big accomplishment for characters who retread similar ground, but the daughter duo have their own unique energy to them while still fitting into the Bill and Ted world, which makes the ending where the daughters lead the world-uniting song more impactful. I know some may call it a cop-out retcon that Bill and Ted's band don't perform the song that unites the world, but instead everyone throughout history does, but I actually like that both for a legacy sequel and as an ending to the overall trilogy. This twist removes the cliche chosen one element by giving more characters agency and importance to saving the day. It showcases how the simple nature of being excellent to each other impacts everyday people for the better, and it's a great passing of the torch from the fathers to their daughters. This must have hit hard in 2020 when it came out, as despite the worst of humanity being showcased during the global pandemic, just as much people are doing their best to inspire and uplift others during these trying times. So despite being a decades-late legacy sequel, I'd say Face the Music is on par with the other two Bill and Ted films as a great movie. It may not be as laugh-out-loud funny as the other two, but it's still packed with charming character moments for both new and old cast members and gives them a thematically resonant finale. And that concludes my analysis of Bill and Ted's Triumphant Trilogy. Thank you so much for watching. I really love these movies and want to talk about them, and I hope to do more movie franchise analysis videos like these. So for now, like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends, and I'll see you all whenever I see you all.